through the link through the webinar, and this time does not look like we have anybody with us. I think that one of our board members plans to join us at some point. We'll see if she's able to do that. And I will move into the chair's report. You received in your packets via email and distributed in hard copy today our November and December. Why don't we take those one at a time?
So the November one, the board members are duplicated, except for you, of course.
Yeah,
Yep.
duplicated, oh,
So
okay.
we should move those, and I'll move to approve the minutes as amended.
As amended. Can I get a second? Thank you, Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. That moves. And December is also included.
I
December
noticed
3rd.
The December minutes didn't mention the fact that we were going to have the letter to the staff.
Well, we didn't take any action. Typically, minutes just have,
They don't have what's going on at the meeting? No?
typically if we take any board action is included in the minutes.
And that
Votes,
wasn't action,
but
right?
that's an important differentiation. What's required by law are motions and votes. Everything else is optional.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a point of information. And every committee varies how detailed their minutes are.
Oh, okay. All right.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, a few updates, some of them coming out of, we had our chairs meeting in January 14th, so a few things that I'll share with you. First, and probably some of you have already received the email, on an annual basis, our conflict of interest training. You may have received the email already, if not, keep 3 times to make sure. So some changes. It used to be managed by the towns. It is now being managed by the state. So makes it a little more challenging for us as a town to know kind of what's going on with it. But all of it will take place in the first quarter. And there's 2 parts to it. So 30 days in advance of your due date, you'll get the email. And there are 2 parts. One is the acknowledgement of the conflict of interest statement. And then the second part is the 1-hour training. The 1-hour training is only required every other year. So I know I took my training last year. All I needed to do this year was the acknowledgement, go onto the website, read it, acknowledge that I've read it, and I'm good to go, which I took care of.
So this is just a notice of something coming up to do, that I got 3 times.
Well, that means you need to do it. So you need to then log on to that link and do your training.
Okay, I thought I did it,
If you did it last year, the full test last year, Bill, the training, you only have to do the summary, which takes about 10 minutes.
but that's all, I can do that on the computer.
Correct. It's just an
Because I
acknowledgement.
thought I had to come and do it, I did it at the Council on Aging.
Yeah.
You did it because some people couldn't get online at home or something, and I did
Okay,
a couple of
that
people.
was my problem, I'd
Yeah,
have to do it at the library, because they still don't have it,
yeah,
but I'll do it.
you could do it, and for you, it should only be about a 10-minute training this year.
Well, if you did the training last year, you're not going to do the training this year. It's every other year for the training.
Okay.
This will just be literally reading it, check, you're done.
So I
So
should-
it is a
okay.
1-minute,
I should acknowledge, go into that email.
Correct.
Okay, I just was waiting to hear that, okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just did something in October. I'll still get notice for this quarter?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Yeah. They did clarify that at our meeting. So you were not registered, and maybe because did you do it in October for the library, or?
I did it in October for here,
You did, okay.
but maybe I didn't
It's for 2025, that was 2025, now it's 2026.
Yeah, but once she's registered, she should be registered.
Yeah, she should be able to get in with her
Yeah,
password.
so
She's got-
I got an email that Mark and Sue were not registered, even in the
Oh.
system at all.
Huh.
So take a look at that and make sure that
Okay.
you're registered. If you have any issues with that, any problems, give Molly Bates a call and she can help you with that.
Okay, I got
Oh, you're good.
that, a certificate
Perfect.
number.
Look at you.
That was November,
Okay. So all you'll have to do this year is the acknowledgement.
but does this mean I'm registered?
Yes, well, you must be if you, yeah. So, not sure why you were listed.
Did you do it online? Then you should get the email when it's time to
Yeah.
do it. And if the town gets notified if anyone's like out of compliance.
Yeah. So she said that probably,
Unless I
by,
was still doing it under the library somehow, but I didn't. you know.
yeah, no.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
That
really
would
matter
cover
what
you.
where you are. It's
Okay.
really just a matter of
Okay.
getting it done.
All right.
So that's it about conflict of interest. Do you have any questions on that? You can check in with me or check in with Molly, and we should be in good shape. All of that will be done by March, and it seems like most of us have already gotten the emails, so. In regard to the budget for the town this year, as Judy well knows, we've got a new process this year on opengov.org, and that is for several reasons, but the good news for us and for everyone in town is that that makes the budget process available online in detail to everyone. So that will be, on view for public. What they suggested is ours is not, at least at the last meeting, and Elaine, you may be able to tell us, is that up and live at this point? Not yet. But if you want to take a look at an example of it, you can go on to Brewster's website. They have been using it for a couple of years just to kind of play around with it, take a look at it, see ease of use. It will give you a little preview of what that looks like. We'll give you a sense of availability. So I know I'm certainly looking forward to that. Hopefully the whole process, certainly a learning curve for everyone this year, but, we'll absolutely make this an easier process for everyone. We did have some discussion about articles, if they're going to be submitted, the process for doing that. I do have a timeline about our whole budget process, so if anybody needs that information, or if we find as a board that we need that, I have that available
It's
as
also
well.
online, should be online on the website.
It is on the website, so for your awareness there. And the last thing that, not entirely related to our older adults, but may very well be, there was just some information for all of us that the high school, Nauset Regional High School, has been completed and opened. They have a ribbon cutting that is set for March 18th. The reason they're wanting everyone to have awareness of it is also that there's really beautiful, wonderful public space there that was not there before. And so us also keeping that in mind as availability of, space that was not available and potentially for collaboration of all sorts of things. So, as we're considering things, we should know that. And just as a member of the community and taxpayer, even if you don't have somebody in high school, the opportunity to see, I understand it is spectacular.
Do you think on that ribbon cutting day they'll have a tour, take you around and show you?
Yeah,
something?
they are doing tours, so
That-
you can also kind of take a look
That
at
would be
that.
very- very
Yeah.
nice.
I understand the theater is
Yeah, I'd like to see
spectacular,
it,
so highly recommend that you
Thank
take a
you.
look at that.
Good.
Yeah. So that is what I have
Do
for.
you know what time? Do you just- this-
I don't. March 18th, I don't know that they even have their time exactly up yet, but again, you could check the website, and I'm sure that that will be available for there. Okay, and I passed out, so from our last two meetings, just wanting to do some follow-up and the summaries. Why don't we start with the COA board representation of the multi-member bodies, which we kind of know as town committees, but the formal name for them are multi-member bodies for the town. And all of you are aware that we've had extensive discussion about one of our board priorities is for us to have representation, for us to have an eye and an ear on what is going on throughout the town, for us to be available as a resource and to see if there are collaborative opportunities for us, awareness, information that should come back here to us as a board. And we identified the different MMBs that there is likely to be work that they are doing that may very well impact older adults in town. So the 7 committees, and actually through this process, we picked up another one. So 8 committees or MMBs. And at our last meeting, we said that we would distribute all of this information and you would kind of rank where you had personal interests, where you might like to step into that. We're not looking to make this be a particularly onerous job for you, but rather for you to simply be keeping an eye on their agendas, their minutes. Certainly if there's something big going on and you have the ability to get to the meeting, that makes a lot of sense. But it is not our intention to have an expectation that you're going to be at every one of their meetings. Not necessary. It really is that kind of keeping your ear to the ground, keeping an eye on what they're doing, what their agenda is, and is there an opportunity for us to be collaborating or at least at a minimum have awareness around those things and bring that information back here so we as a board can have that discussion and say, is this something that we need to have awareness of, step into, offer resources, whatever. That is relationship building, awareness building, all those sorts of things. So that's the background on that. Thank you for all of you getting back to me. Some of you had some particular interests and others of you said, put me where you need me. So what I did is kind of take your, number 1, number 2s, kind of laid those out. And I think this should be self-explanatory in regard to, where we needed people. I guess, Mark, you're the only one, you did say, kind of put me where you need me. I know that you had all of these meetings either fall on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you have commitments on those days, the meetings themselves will become challenging for sure.
Are all these meetings recorded?
Yes,
So
they are.
So.
Yeah,
You can just
possibly
you can do
just
that at any
watch
time.
after,
And you
Yeah.
can watch from home
Yeah,
for all of them too.
exactly. Yeah.
So is that that yellow box? Is
Exactly,
Okay.
right, yes.
Oh, I was wondering what the yellow box was.
The yellow box means that's where you're assigned.
That's-
As well, and I did this, but this is open for discussion, right? So I just proposed this based on the information that you gave me, right? So I would be overseeing and keeping an eye on select committee minutes and tuning into those or attending those. Mark would do recreation. I did include the information at the bottom just so you can see typically what they do, when they do it, what they're focusing on. I think, Mark, on the Recreation Advisory Committee, particularly as they're looking at expansion of community center,
Right.
that is not on their docket right now. I think it is really keeping an eye on when does that become a real active issue for them. Although, there certainly are things that they are looking at, every month as they're meeting, every time they're meeting, that may very well be applicable to active adults in the community. Sue made sense certainly because you have a background over at Snow's Library to have you continue to take a look at that. Sue Milton on Finance Committee. Susan Milton. Susan also suggested that we take a look at the Orleans School Committee and had a willingness for having some oversight there. So happy to have her do that.
Denise, can
Yeah.
I ask a question? The planning board is absent from your monitoring, even though they're in the middle of a final draft of their comprehensive plan, and seniors represent as big stakeholders in terms of both the future of the community center, future of the COA, programming and needs space, and the campus plan, which encompass school recreation and a community center. You might want to keep an ear to the ground on that.
Okay.
Not all the time, but it's one of those committees that somebody should be monitoring.
Yeah, for sure. So when I sent this out originally, I had suggested to everybody, it's a massive document, but it is online and well worth the read, I think. I mean,
Not about the comp plan, but just this group having a stake.
for sure.
Because planning board will be making
Updating that.
making recommendations to the select board in terms of budget and future capital investments.
Okay,
And that directly affect programming and staffing and facilities.
Right.
For seniors in this community.
got it, okay.
It's just, again, just a suggestion, you guys are in charge of yourself.
No,
It's
that's,
a suggestion.
that is really key, for sure. I thought that might also be in economic development, but that's really more on the business side. Okay.
Economic development is not necessarily municipal investment
Got it.
on town facilities. Economic development is our local business community and growing year-round business investment.
I know when I looked at their agendas and stuff, they didn't say much.
I'm
I mean,
sorry, the
their
planning board agendas?
never gave me any idea of what they were really gonna talk about, it seemed like. They
It-
were very bare
Broad.
bones.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
And I think you're gonna find that for most everyone, there's some, gives some flexibility to discussions.
Housing is a big deal, and housing, secure housing for seniors is a major
For sure.
challenge
Yeah,
in this community. So, I know you've got the Affordable Housing Trust. The planning board is also part of that effort.
got it.
And again, maybe it's taking somebody who's a member of the committee for coffee once a month or something. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a heavy lift.
Yeah. It is really, I think, what we're gonna find is as we get into this, part of our discussion will be to have this as a standing agenda item to see how does this evolve and what are you finding as you're stepping into this and what would be most helpful. And I suspect that over time this will kind of evolve. And, we may very well find that something becomes very secondary and somebody says, yes, I'll keep an eye on it, but there's nothing going on and now I'm willing to step into this other thing that's starting to heat up. We may meet multiple people watching a certain thing because it's a big deal for a while. So I think us being flexible, this is kind of, I envision this as a step one to us having a mindset of kind of outreach to the full town so that we have awareness and, where we can be a resource, where we can have information, and know where there is potential impact for older adults. So Bill, Cultural District Committee, Mary for Economic Development, and then we do have a vacant seat. For now, I put that in affordable housing. Any comments, anything you want to shift around, anything that we're missing here?
well, it almost sounds to me like, from what Andrea's suggesting, that maybe instead of the Economic Development Committee, have the planning board. That Mary, maybe, did she care? Was she the one that said you can put her anywhere?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at her information.
That sounds like
yeah.
it might be more productive than the economic development.
I can talk with her about that. Yeah. So my suggestion would be that kind of our next step is to kind of now go back and kind of take a deeper dive into those, take a look at minutes, take a look at some of their recent meetings that are available on Zoom. And for our next meeting, we can kind of at least have a discussion about, you know, is there anything significant going on? And, you know, some feedback from you about, you know, are there any kind of adjustments that we need to make? So anything else on this piece?
Yeah. So meets for a cultural district committee, meets fourth Tuesday at 10, that's here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just show up and introduce myself?
They
or-
just changed their meeting time, though. They're now 5:30 on Mondays, I believe.
Oh.
I can't remember if it's Mondays or Tuesdays. It just changed last week.
But I know that, I would have just showed up at a,
Yeah,
Wrong
so I
time.
would double check that.
Well, and that's why you want to look at agendas for sure. You know, you want to see that it's posted. The agendas are always going to be posted. Minutes often take quite some time because they need to go back to select board to be approved before they're posted. And so it's not unusual to find that minutes are backlogged several months before they're actually posted up. But the Zoom links are available, so you can see those, you know, right away or, you know, right after a meeting. Those are always readily available to you as well.
so when did you say they were meeting?
They changed it, I think, to 5:30, but I can't remember if it's Monday or Tuesdays. And it just changed at their last meeting.
Okay.
I'm the liaison, so that's.
If I go online to the cultural council, they should tell me when they.
Cultural
Yeah.
district. I was talking about the cultural district.
Cultural district.
They'll go to the town's website.
Oh, that's not this, okay. I picked this up at my Orleans Cultural Council. That's not the same thing as this?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I was looking at this and not thinking, I'm all mixed up. Cultural District Committee.
Yeah,
okay.
so on the website, you'll see that all of the committees are listed. There's a page that has all of them, and from there, you can just kind of click on agendas, minutes, Zoom links are all there. And you'll see exactly, you know, when their next meeting is, and if there's an agenda posted, Zoom links are available there. Whether you want to watch those as they're going on live, or you want to see that after the fact. All right. Next, the other handout is in regard to the COA board skills assessment. Just as a refresher, what we were trying to do here, as we have a vacant position and for the board, and we have in June, we have some turnover coming up, which will happen more quickly than we think here in January when it's so cold. June seems forever away, but it will be here before you know it. So part of this is that understanding of our board makeup, and where do we have skills as we are looking to fill a vacancy and do succession planning. Do we need to or want to be targeting any particular skills that would be helpful? I, for one, found this really interesting to see some of the talent that is here on the board that I had no idea. And so I think this is a really good exercise that I would encourage us to kind of continue to do as we have new board members, you know, come onto the board, and maybe even refine this so that there's, you know, a card that's available and we can kind of have people, you know, fill it out. It's great to see, you know, who's got background in, you know, technology or marketing or, whatever it is. And so I am sure for Judy and her team as well, to kind of know that there may be some expertise on the board that we had not previously tapped. I found this to be really helpful. And, really not any massive holes either, which is really nice too. I suspect some of you may have been
Modest.
yes, thank you, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, exactly. I was like, no,
Speak
my
on-
goodness,
on that-
you did this for 24 years. I would say it's probably pretty strong. It's not some experience.
On that note,
Uh-huh.
you has here under my name, Snow Library Board. I was never on the Snow Library Board, so I don't know where you got that from.
Okay,
I'm a retired librarian, but I was never.
got it,
So
okay.
please take that off.
I will.
In all modesty.
Fair enough, fair enough. But you are a retired librarian, so that
Retarded
counts.
or retired, either way.
Uh-huh. Some board members added some additional information about, where they are representing within the town. So we may want to begin to collect some of that information so that we see that we've got representation from different parts of town. Obviously, most boards take a look at things like gender, orientation, things like that. Again, where are there potentially other pieces of representation on our board as we look to fill vacancies? So this too should and can be a kind of living document that we can, update and take a look at. I think that targeting what we think that we need, taking a look at what are our priorities for the next year or two, and then saying, we have a need here, can we find a board member that can help us in a particular area, and is that what we want to be targeting? That may be a long shot, but certainly I think worthwhile. This kind of assessment and kind of keeping track of this information is helpful on, I think, a wide variety of levels. Feedback, comments on any of this?
That's a lot of work on your part, thank you.
Thanks.
Sure. I do think the, also technical literacy, also really important. Having board members having access to computer, being able to, respond becomes really important. Having some background in some of these things really becomes very helpful as we kind of move forward with addressing a number of the priorities that we want to be doing. So we'll hold on to this, and as we do have discussions around board vacancies, utilize this as well. So thanks, everybody, for putting that together. If there's anything else that you want included here, or you forgot, please let me know. I'm happy to kind of keep this updated and kind of keep this a live document so that we know what we've got here. That is it for me, a rather long chair's report. We have no one here for public comment, and we can move into the select board liaison report from Andrea.
I'll keep it really simple. We're in the middle of budget, which also looks at priorities and values and putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak. The only other thing, and of course the fire station emergency response is weighing on all of us in terms of the success of a new building. But I would strongly encourage you guys, because some other, like the planning board last night, it was public conversation. That's a board I monitor, that I just listen to the meetings each month, so I stay on top of what's going on. But this is a two-way street with your board not only being available as you monitor the activities of other boards to get asked what you think of what they're working on, but conversely, invite them to your meetings when they're doing something that directly impacts your goals and priorities. So the importance of those conversations, we had 2 boards that were accidentally alienated during the exercise of the branding exercise that the town went through, even though there were public meetings for a year. ARC, Architectural Review, and the Economic Development Committee did not directly participate, and then, you know, we backed up. We took time to make sure that both boards had special presentations, and now they're completely on board. But those lost opportunities are hard. It's much more efficient to be part of the conversation from the start. So I completely applaud your effort, and will support you. Shortcuts, any shortcuts you can take to just listen to the conversation and know when to chime in are going to be huge for you, for other boards in town to get used to asking you to participate in their conversations.
To be seen as a stakeholder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And moving here was a great first step.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Carol Hackett was unable to be here for Friends of Orleans Council on Aging, but she did let me know that she did not have particularly anything that she needed to report, so nothing from Friends this month. And Carol hopes to be here at our next meeting. We can move into the financial report. Judy?
Okay, it's in everybody's packet, it's several pages in. We have it separated on 2 pages now. The first page is really our town appropriated funds. We're at 50% of the fiscal year now. This fiscal year is July 1 of one year through June 30th of the following year, so the end of December represents half of the year. You can see we're right on target with salaries, closer than sometimes even with operating expenditures. I suspect a lot of that is utility related. We are in the first heating season of the high efficient electric HVAC units, and so our expenses are different than they have been in the past. Not sure we're entirely ready for that. I have talked to Mark Reel about that in terms of sharing credits, solar credits with the COA for the new increased electric costs. So I think we're in good shape there. We have not had a lot of movement on big projects. Just a reminder, I'm on my leave. I return back to work full-time next week. I thank you all for your patience while I've been going through a difficult personal time. And you'll see, I think in my report, the priority is getting back on track with some of these big projects which impact some of those funding articles. On the next page, the expenditures for our program revolving fund and the income are always kind of busy. The same with gifts and donations. Formula grant, we have regular expenditures because we pay for some staffing costs out of that as well as programming costs. The income comes in, typically, we have no idea when the income comes in for a formula grant. We have received 50% of our FY26 formula grant funds. I was in a state meeting yesterday morning and just learned this year they are doing something brand new with the distribution of the rest of the funds. They're breaking the second 50% into 3 separate payments. They don't have a schedule, though we did hear the first installment of that should be done by the end of next week. It'll be somewhat equal to 16%. It's going to make it a little bit hard to find because it comes electronically to the town. So I've already talked to the treasurer about what to look for. So we're hoping to get the rest of that money. It is a challenging fiscal year, but I will say that the current state administration is very supportive of senior issues. So we're looking forward to getting the full allocation this year. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I don't think I read through your report, and I don't think I saw it in there. It seemed like the telephone replacement was originally when the fellow came and talked to us. It was supposed to be done by the end of December. Now, that shouldn't have anything to do with your being not here, away, not able to be the director. So is anything happening with that?
I have no update for you regarding that.
Yeah, I have a
received
call
any
out to Peter
information.
on that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I know that the $15,000 in our special article still exists, but I don't, I am not shepherding that project.
Right.
Because that's a
Right.
townwide project.
And I
Right.
have not been given any update on
Yeah,
that.
okay. But wasn't there some kind of money that was supposed to be used by the end of the year for some of that?
I believe that's what was reported to us, and maybe when we get an update from Peter, we'll get a better understanding of where it all stands.
Okay.
That's the financial report.
Thank you, we can move into the director's report.
Okay. I'm not gonna read. I do want you to know that one of the things that I do quarterly is I kind of look at summary statistics. I've always said I'm a little bit of a geek for data because I do think it informs decisions. So it was interesting to look at some of the summary and the kind of highlights I provided for you. Outreach has worked with 408 different Orleans residents. I mean, I think that's a high number, given, the population that we serve. I mean, it's a pretty good percentage. Some of them they're working with on a regular basis, sometimes one time only, but 408 different people. So I thought that was kind of
some of that higher
noteworthy.
because of that SNAP benefits?
It may have
program?
been a little bit higher because of that. I know that our Healthy Meals in Motion program is very highly enrolled right now. Food insecurity with the cost of food has become a very real issue for a lot of people. But, it's also energy assistance time. They've been helping with applications and redeterminations around that. And we've been doing a lot of crisis intervention. This week, to be honest, today and yesterday, we have spent an inordinate amount of time on snow removal issues. That was one of the things I went upstairs to talk to Mark about before this. We do a lot of work really encouraging people to plan ahead for this, that it is really a personal responsibility. I don't have a magic wand, I wish I did. Resources have become scarce. A lot of the vendors are at capacity or only plow for their landscaping customers. We have reached out to a lot of vendors ourselves in the last 24 hours. We have reached out to all of the Council on Aging. I have reached out to the Chamber of Commerce. I've had a conversation with Amanda, the town's public information officer. I have put together a message I'm asking to be shared through the Chamber's networking to try and get a little bit more of a list. We have seniors who can't get Meals on Wheels or their home care services if they don't get plowed out. And we have a lot of people living in this town who are house rich, cash poor, or who have no family and very limited informal networks. That being said, we're doing our best, but I don't have a snowplow, and I don't have this magic little army of people who shovel. Most of our volunteers, frankly, are in their late 70s. And this has been a lot of shoveling for people personally, so extra is hard. We know that we have frustrated constituents here in town. We've been really working to do our best. The ones that we know are most critical, we think we have resolved. But it's taken a really inordinate amount of time and resources trying to address this. This is a problem, and we have some thoughts about next year, but this is a reflection of Cape workforce. I mean, we can't make magically appear what doesn't exist. And I think that this is one of those realities, our community needs to get our head around in terms of housing impacts all of this. There isn't a huge young workforce here anymore. So just an update. Going back to my summary notes, we have 133 Orleans older adults who have gotten transportation services. 64% of the people we serve are over the age of 75. November was our busiest month so far. Fridays are our busiest days, and the average daily attendance at the senior center by the public, so we're not counting staff or volunteers, is 90. So we're busy. To be honest, some of that, like the outreach was a surprise for me. That number was a little bit surprising. The age statistics are always a little bit surprising. I think we're up to maybe 20% of the people we serve are over 80, 85. So watching that, it's a reflection of our demographics, really. The day was surprising to me. I didn't think Fridays was our busiest day. It doesn't feel it to me, but
Lunch.
lunch is probably one of the factors in that, and some of our special events are Fridays. But anyways, key updates. I said I'm back to work full-time next week. I'm asking for patience. I have a tremendous work backlog. I have tried to keep up with things that have been due. I'm still behind on one thing that was due last week, but I've managed to get most everything done that was due, except for the town has a classification study going on now, and I'm a little behind on my work for that. But so when I come back full-time, I have big projects I've got to get back. I can't accept new work right now. We have to get our garden restoration project, we have to get the Go-Go transportation project back on track. So there's some things I really need to get going, because I don't want to lose momentum entirely. But I have been in touch with people that are involved in those projects so that they understood that I was kind of on a pause. We have our second annual intergenerational lunch with Orleans Elementary School next week, which we're very excited about. This one, the theme of it is going to be Pleasant Bay. The students have done research on Pleasant Bay, so it's environmental. I think we're fully enrolled from attendance on that. And some really kind of neat news is the Chronicle periodically, it's not scheduled or anything, does features on councils on aging and senior centers, and they selected Orleans to kind of have some photo coverage this year. So with permission of Amanda, I shared some town photos with them, so hopefully we'll see that soon. I don't really have a date from them yet, but I really made sure I responded to all of that. Staffing updates, we did post, we had a staff. This is the position that I have to say we have a couple of tough positions. This is the hardest one. We have a part-time position in our supportive daycare program. It's a 3-day part-time, no benefit position. We have good people work for us, but I don't know, they don't stay. It's not great money, it's no benefits, I don't know, it's always a different reason that people don't stay. We have a lead on someone who we think applied, who we're excited about, so I'm hoping to get some information from HR and applicants for that soon. And then we really have to get working on filling our vacant custodian position as well. So when I said projects, the staffing issue is one of the projects that really needs my attention. I do want to say publicly, because this is being televised, that the staff has been tremendously supportive of me over these last few months in a very difficult time. Donna in particular is one of those people who has really stepped up. They've taken on extra work to ease my burden. I'm very appreciative of it, and I've been in constant touch with mostly her, Lynn, Maria, and Lillian from the beginning, but it is really, it's the dedication of the people who work there. I don't think the public even knows anything has been going on. And that is such a blessing, but also such a reflection of the people that I work with at the senior center. And I just wanted to make sure that I said that out loud. Very grateful.
Absolutely, yes.
It's good.
It takes a village.
Takes a village, for sure.
Well, thanks to you too, even though you're on leave, you're still doing work too, which is, not everybody would. It shows your dedication.
Yeah, well, I do love the work, but I'm also really blessed to work with other people who really love the work. So it does take a village, as Donna said. It's
hard work.
It's been really good. So I think that is my update. I talked about the snow removal. One little extra thing I want to talk about in the general update report is, I know I've seen some public information about the Pride planning and the parade that's been planned. We will do a Pride barbecue this year. We cannot sustain the size of the event we did last year. It was very costly. We thought it was important last year because it was our 10th annual barbecue. It also was the first town pride celebration, but the event costs thousands of dollars, and I just don't think it is long-term sustainable to do that, and it also took a tremendous amount of staff resources. So the sustainability of that size of an event is not good for us, but we will go back to having our barbecue that's attended by about 100, 120 people. We can't do a tent and all the things this year, but we already have it planned, we already have a music vendor lined up for it, so we are working on that. I wanted to do an FY '27 budget update. The budget, it came due while I was out, but I did get it in. I had a meeting, a budget review meeting with the town finance director, the assistant town manager, and I think it's the assistant finance director, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, what the title is, but it was Darren, Mark, and Cedric. It's an as-is budget, but I did request a new position of an assistant director. I included in this update, there's a spreadsheet, and I apologize, I know some of the print is teeny tiny, but I'm trying to get it on one page so that it makes sense. In the far right column, you can see the FY '27 amount that was requested, and it was $1,054,612. The town provided all of the amounts for salaries and staffing. They did that automatically. I did the operating expenditures. I did request more electricity money than moved forward in the budget, but there was a discussion about making sure the COA receives some of the solar credits the town gets to try and get that cost under control. We also are in the process of trying to finish our HVAC replacement. We've done the staffing end, like, from the lobby down to the supported daycare part of the building. We haven't done the other part of the building. So Ron Collins is working on that. It's awaiting grant approval from the state. I just learned yesterday we had already blocked off 2 weeks in April for that to happen, but nothing has happened with state approval. So now we're going back and trying to fill in programming. I don't know when it will happen. I don't know if it will be this year. So projecting costs when we don't know what's happening with the HVAC system is, it's a little bit challenging, but did our best. There aren't huge changes in almost any of our operating expenditures. It is an as-is budget, but I think it's adequate. After that spreadsheet with the teeny tiny print that gives you a look at what our actuals and our request was, I included for you to see the position justification form that I completed at the request of the town. I don't see it on OpenGov, but again, I think it's all still in working. I don't know if it'll be there long-term or not. I do want to share with you, and I got permission from Mark to share with you that I did get a notification that at this time, the position is not funded in the FY '27 budget. They do plan to bring forward the request to the select board so that make sure they're aware of the request. At this moment, their recommendation would be to seek funding in the fall utilizing excess levy. So that's the only update I have about that. But I did want you to see that this has been a subject of conversation, that it was requested, that I did complete the justification. So I have no information. As far as I'm concerned, it's not moving forward at this time. I think that they were under pressure to submit a balanced budget. How about if I'll answer any questions at the end? The annual report was due. I did submit the annual report. I did get that done in time, so I submitted a copy here. With the annual report, we always turn in the list of the COA board members and the COA staff, so I've given you a copy of all of that so that you would see what was turned in. Two special issues besides the snow removal that I want to bring up with you. We did just take receipt of a brand-new vehicle leased through the CCRTA. So in the coming month, we'll be turning in our old one. We were hoping to get the new one signed first, but it looks like the timing isn't gonna work out. So, we are really experiencing challenges. We have a lot of people living on private roads requesting transportation. I had been in touch with Jeff Deering, the fire chief, about access issues. I had reached out to the town, and we are going to be sending letters. We have van damage from using some of these private roads. We have people expecting transportation when their roads are not successfully cleared of snow. The size of our vehicles would require a special tow truck should they get stuck. There's only, the nearest one is in Hyannis. And so we really can't chance going down some of these roads. And we have found that the tree trimming on the roads and in some private properties, it's damaging our vehicles. And we just have a new vehicle, we're in the works getting another new vehicle for our town vehicle. And this is not gonna be a popular thing. But we, if people live in these areas, they have to understand that it's their responsibility. We had one individual who lived way out in East Orleans, really the most eastern, I think, residents on the Cape. And it was down a private road, off a private road. And so we've done drive-bys of some of these locations based on what the van drivers are telling us. And on one day when I was down there, I stopped because I saw some neighbors out doing some yard work. Some of these neighborhoods don't have neighborhood associations. They just all take care of their own property. So if you have an older adult who's living there, who's vulnerable and not very well supported, doesn't have family and friends, there's no tree trimming happening. We have gotten volunteers and we have trimmed a couple of times, which I'm not sure is really our job, but just to make sure that somebody could get to a medical appointment. But we are going to have to send letters. I think we're really going to have to make this a little bit more official. I'm making you aware of it because I know it's not going to be a popular, people aren't going to be happy if they get one of those letters. But if you live on a private road, it is your responsibility to make sure that it's accessible for the vehicle and safe for the vehicle. And so I think we're going to have to step this up. We have tried to deal with this informally for a few years now, and we haven't seen things change. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I did raise this up to the assistant town manager I reviewed this with.
Just a comment about that as someone who's, spent a career with seniors, is I think on some levels our attempts to accommodate becomes enabling.
Yep.
And, when I hear about seniors who have no family, no support, are in a home that's that remote, I really get concerned that they're out there anyway. And, trying to make the accommodations, I applaud the COA for, doing some of that above and beyond, but I don't know that in the long run that we're really helping them. We're really enabling that, and they really do need a higher level of care. And I think that, this is a good example of something that's just really going to make it happen for them. And in the long run, that is a much safer option for them to, make a change and have the level of care that they need. Otherwise, there's going to be a horrible outcome. And we will have enabled that by, trimming the trees and, somehow making a doctor's appointment happen. Because there's so much more than just those things that need to happen for people. That's just unsafe.
Yeah, I agree. The social service coordinator, Lynn Bryan, and I do this program called Engage Academy, where we're really talking about preparing for aging in place. And I use this metaphor in that program where I talk about if your goal is to hike the Appalachian Trail, you don't get in your car and drive to Georgia and get on the trail with your sneakers on. You have studied the trail, you have supply drops, you've packed a backpack and made sure your equipment is right, you have really good hiking shoes on, and aging in place is very much like that. You can't just do it and think it's all gonna work out. And there has to be, and I had this conversation about the snow removal. There is some personal responsibility involved in this. We just cannot, with the number of seniors we have here in this town, we can't be all things to all people. We do our best, and I think maybe we need to do a better job of being clear what we can't do. And I think that's what the letters will help do, is that you live on a private road, you need to understand. So I think we need to provide some clarity in those situations. The challenge for us is that when you set limits or really adhere to boundaries that are in place, it's not always popular, it's not always received well. The optics are something you can't really be in charge of. We had people making a lot of calls to a lot of people yesterday, feeling like we weren't providing, the help that they needed or wanted around snow removal. So it's challenging when you're on the boots, when your boots are on the ground and you're right in the middle of it. But
Maybe
I
your
do
letter
think,
can be co-signed by the town manager.
yeah, I do think that this is one of those things that we.
Well, is there a way to have a joint letter with the fire department, because they have the same problem?
They do, and I don't know, I mean, I can, I can bring that up with Mark the next time I meet with him to ask if that's something he wants to consider
I
doing.
mean,
And
that would make it seem even stronger.
The fire department has, harder language behind what they do than we do.
Oh, okay.
Than we have, because I did look at it. Not the language in the letter, but in terms of emergency access, it's like a zoning thing, so that doesn't necessarily apply to us. Nonetheless, the vehicles are town property, and they are not cheap. We're approaching $100,000 for the value of a vehicle. So they have to last. They don't get replaced very quickly. So it's something we need to be mindful of. And service is very, very important, and it is definitely our primary responsibility, but we also have to be good steward of our resources as well. So, because this is kind of a more forward step, I just wanted to make you
Well,
aware
also,
of
if
it.
the vehicle gets stuck, that means everyone else who needs a
Nobody else
vehicle.
gets
That's
their-
right.
We
Yeah.
actually explained that to somebody
Yeah.
yesterday when somebody was requesting transportation, and we just said, no, we just can't chance that. I do also want to inform you that we've had a request for mirrors in the meeting rooms, and I haven't formally responded, but I have informally responded. I think what's happening is people are seeing other community settings in perhaps other communities where there are mirrors.
Like for exercise?
Yes, for
Yeah, right,
exercise
that's
class. Well, in those cases, the centers were developed with dedicated fitness space. We don't have dedicated fitness space. I mean, I have people telling me exactly where the mirrors could go. They want them on the movable walls. Well, first of all, the movable walls need to be replaced. I've requested that in the capital expenditure, in the capital improvement budget. And the rooms aren't just used for fitness, it's only part of what we do there. It's a multipurpose space. But again, for optics, I am letting you know that the request came up because I think you should be aware of when the public has suggested something, and it is not practical in the space that we have to do mirrors. I don't think everybody eating lunch would really like to be sitting next to mirrors.
Well, it also would reflect sound, it would be.
Yeah, everything else.
So it'd be
it's-
nice for a fitness class,
Exactly.
but then it's worse for.
Right. That completes my report.
So, by the way, there are now name tags.
Yes.
I think it's sort of it's just starting out, so people are not used to them yet, but thank you for those that did that. I
We
appreciate it.
are starting it, we're encouraging use, we're having mixed response, but
Yeah.
we're trying. That was your suggestion. I will tell you, this one here had a lot to do with the work
Well,
behind it
yes.
and
Thank you,
shepherding
Doc.
the process.
Yeah, it's just new, so people are not used to it.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
mixed.
it
They don't
is.
know what to look,
Yeah, but
And some
somebody
people- I
wants their
think-
name to appear differently,
Some
they want a
people,
nickname.
yeah, that's right, and, they're not, some people want to remain anonymous. so.
That's right, yeah. So we'll try, we're gonna
Yes,
try.
yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move into new business. Thank you, Judy. And I just want to, before I move into new business, to reiterate our appreciation for, your team, and I think the reflection of your leadership is in that they, just did a terrific job throughout this time. Hopefully that provided you some ease in knowing that they're going to,
100%.
do just a wonderful job. I think it was completely seamless to every participant that walked through the doors. Everything just happened the way it needed to happen, and then some, ahead of schedule. And of course, your, willingness to kind of still have your finger on the pulse while you were juggling so many other critical issues. Thank you for that. So we continue to keep you in our thoughts, and hope the journey continues to be strong and good for you and your family. Okay, under new business, I also did learn at our chairs meeting that there is some new technology that's available within the town for all of the MMBs, all of the committees. The town has struggled with meeting space and juggling the rooms and the times and making accommodations for everyone. So they do have technology that's called the OWL, and that will allow this device to be brought wherever off-site, and they used as an example the library or the COA, that they can bring the OWL device there, and it is, if it is happening here, it makes it's still, you can utilize then the Zoom, so it still becomes a public meeting. It would be really not any different than us having our meeting here. I know we just moved this to here in the last months, but I think our purpose in that was that we get the awareness for the full community, and that that there is more of an encouragement of public to participate, that people can Zoom in, they can hear what's going on. So we now have that option. We can discuss potentially moving our meeting back to COA and utilize the OWL technology so that we have the same exact stuff going on, the screen, people being able to call in, Zoom in, participate, but do that over at the COA.
What's OWL stand for?
I think it looks like an owl.
It looks like an
Oh,
owl.
it's just, it actually is an owl?
It's an owl, yeah. It's
Online,
So
Oh,
it's got like a little speaker and microphone and
I didn't see the picture.
two light, that must
it
be
does.
cameras, so,
Yeah, very cool.
so.
It does look like an owl.
I'm looking at owllabs.com.
we would have to have a room with a television, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, we'd have to have a screen. Which,
I don't know if it has to be a television or it has to be just a projector.
A monitor, yeah, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
something.
just a monitor.
Yeah. So,
You have one on wheels?
we do not have a portable TV, but if it's a computer connection that's needed, in room A, we have the screen similar to what's behind you come down. And people connect laptops. So I guess I would need to meet with IT to find out what would be required. If you want me to do that, I'm happy to find out. I'll report back at the next meeting.
It looks like it will pick out individuals in the room, and.
So the owl kind of spins around, and if Andrea starts talking, the camera would move so that she appears on the screen. Yeah, that's how they explained it.
One of the funny things.
Is it a floor thing, like the thing you
No,
see
it's
at
a
the Stop and
tabletop.
Shop?
It's like a little, like this
It's
size.
about this
Okay.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they using them here now or no? They are.
Okay, let me talk to Peter, he knows our facility quite well, so see what he thinks, if it would work, or where we would need to be for it to work its best, and I will report back at the next meeting.
Great.
They have something similar at the Boston Athenaeum. There's a discussion group, book group that I'm, Zoom in, and they have something there. It picks different people Unfortunately, there's a bunch of portraits on the wall, so, you know, like sometimes you get like George Washington as a little Zoom thing, that, you know, it doesn't say much, but he's in their
Funny.
meeting. But I don't think we'll have that problem.
Well, we don't have portraits on the walls.
We don't, no, so.
We do have art.
But
We have art.
as your liaison, I think the point for the meeting capacity, no matter where you have it, is the feature that the public
Yeah,
Oh,
can
yeah.
be seen and heard.
Yes,
So that's
Yeah.
what separated that's why you moved out of the
Yeah.
COA.
Correct.
Right,
Correct.
so as long as you can maintain that,
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, aren't the meetings recorded here?
But that's very different than if you have a public hearing or you have an issue, public comment should
Right.
be able to,
Right,
in
but-
real time, participate in your meeting.
But they're also, because they're here, aren't they recorded? That when we were at the
Yeah.
COA, they weren't recorded,
Correct.
were they either?
yes.
I don't know if this records. I have
Yes,
to be
it
honest, being absent, Denise is the one that informed me of this technology. I don't know anything about it yet.
Yes,
so.
yeah. So it will be, that device will do exactly what is happening right now. In the past, you're correct, that our meetings were not recorded, they were not, if the public wanted to come, they would come to the meeting, that was it. They weren't, you couldn't
Right.
access them through Zoom.
Right.
So that was really, as Andrew said, the primary reason why we moved here, so that we could be more accessible to the public.
If you move back, the monitor will be critical.
Oh, yeah, of
So
course.
that the public
I'm
can
sure
access
that's
you in real
The
time.
key
Right,
piece,
yeah.
right, right.
Do we know who's using it? Is there a committee using it? Are you using it?
Library, I think.
Library has been using it? Okay.
Oh,
Well, was intending to, so at the meeting on the 14th, I don't know that anybody had started even using it yet.
Okay.
So it's brand new.
But it's for committees, boards and committees that want off-site meetings.
Yeah, that's the purpose of it.
I'm not sure that anybody's signed up for it to be a regular feature yet. It's new technology.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I want to say, I think they said they had 2,
Yeah.
so,
All right, I'll look into it.
so can we have them?
I could say I don't give a hoot, but I don't know.
Well,
There you go, our creative member here.
Good one. All right, any other new business that we need to bring? Okay, under old business, I just wanted to kind of keep these on our radar. The COA board charge, just asked Judy that we leave this here just so that it remains on our radar. My understanding is, as I spoke with Molly, that they're waiting for all of the MMBs, all the committees to update their charges so that they can bring those all to the select committee. So once they've got all of those, that'll go to select. Ours will be a part of that, and that's when we'll get that information back. So we're waiting on that to happen. And then our COA board goals and priorities. That is, as Judy just discussed, part of what she is needing to do, and we talked about this being a living document, and this is a perfect example of why, right? That as she and the team and we will need to kind of juggle things around as she gets back into her groove, that we want to provide her a little bit of breathing space to get some of those things accomplished, and then we'll have an opportunity to kind of sit and look at that and say which of these things maybe even need to be moved around a little bit. So we'll just keep this on here, and in the coming months, we can kind of take a look at it and see if there's any juggle that needs to happen there or anything that needs to be added or shifted around. Any other old business? We already did talk about the phone, and we will follow up with Peter Van Dyke on that, and see what the status of the grant that they were working toward. They had the deadline at the end of December 2025. If that didn't come through, then they would move to internally using the funds that had been put aside. But obviously, he wanted to be able to tap into that grant money if he was able to. So we'll get an update on that. Any other business? Can I get a motion for adjournment? Bill?
I move
Second?
to adjourn.
second?
Second, Sue. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.